This year, there's an updated edition of Spies Against Armageddon. Now, Yossi Melman, a very well-known Israeli journalist, and I have done 5 books together. A lot of people remember Every Spy a Prince, and that was from 1990. To my amazement, it was a bestseller about the Mossad and the other Israeli intelligence agencies. And so Yossi Melman and I have done an updated book, and so it includes the Iran nuclear issue, what's been going on with the possibility of Palestinian talks, and frankly, within Israel, how the Mossad is not the only intelligence agency. So how do they get along with the eavesdropping unit called Unit 8200, or Amman, which is the military intelligence, or even the Shin Bet, the domestic security, or how about that agency that ran Jonathan Pollard as a spy in the U.S. in the mid-'80s? It's been disbanded, but whatever happened with what LACOM used to do, scientific spying? We're showing in the book that Israel hasn't given up on that. It has to. Israel has the technological lead in so many ways that science, technology, the nuclear program, a lot of people don't want to talk about Israel having nukes, but it's a reality, and so we also give a history of where that came from and why. So you add that all together, we thought, I think in the year 2014, there's a lot to review, and so we had the pleasure of putting it all together again, yes.
Weren't you involved in helping break that story about Israel's nuclear testing with South Africa? It was 1980?
Well, you're one of the few people who remembers, after all, a broadcast from 34 years ago, but it's always been an interest of mine, what Israel does behind the scenes. So yes, I was a resident correspondent in Israel for CBS News in the late 70s, mainly covering the Egypt-Israel Sadat-Begin peace negotiations. There was so much else going on, and Israel's ultimate defense included military programs. Even then it was whispered about rather than confirmed, and it's still not confirmed by Israel that it has a nuclear arsenal. And so yes, it came to my attention there was a manuscript that spoke about Israeli-South African military and nuclear cooperation, that there'd been a test blast. Again, it's not been fully confirmed by anybody, but I did a report on CBS that in late '79, Israel and South Africa did that together. For a while, Israel asked me to leave the country. I got transferred to the London bureau, but within 2 years, I was back in Israel. Israel gave me the press card, and I was covering the Lebanon War of '82 and just about everything since, interviews with prime ministers, etc. So Israel's continued to be really my primary focus of my work, even as on CBS News, especially on the radio, I cover everything every week. And so it's nice to have a specialty, and I still consider the Middle East that.
And you host an hour-long, or is it a 90-minute show every Saturday night?
Oh, thanks. It depends sort of where in the country. Stations run it at different times, the CBS News Weekend Roundup. But hey, just to think that our viewers now have found us at youtube.tv, similarly, online journalism is a growing thing. Right. So the CBS News Weekend Roundup is easy to find by Googling CBS Weekend Roundup, or my name, Dan Raviv, and so we're having listeners to our 50-minute magazine show that reviews the week. Sure, it's got the Middle East. Are you kidding with what's going on now with the dangers of ISIS, America striking back, another crisis in the Middle East? That's a big topic for me. So again, CBS News Weekend Roundup. I hope people look for it. There's also an app for your smartphone, CBS Radio News. You can click, and find the Weekend Roundup. I'm enjoying, and I'm sure you do too, I'm enjoying online journalism because you can choose what you want, when you want it. I think it's a great thing.
If there's a podcast of it?
Indeed, a podcast of the Weekend Roundup you can hear anytime, as well as it being on the radio. So I like both. Americans listen to the radio, you don't always know what you're going to get, right. But with a podcast or the app on your smartphone, CBS Radio News, you're choosing what you want. I like it. My audience finds me that way. I like it.
It's on in LA Saturday nights at 6 p.m. typically. When's it on in Washington?
On Saturday night at midnight on 1500 a.m. and in Chicago at midnight local time on WBBM 780 and 105.9 FM. So the big cities often put it on midnight or 5 a.m. I don't know, just the nature of radio. As I say, my audience finds me. And so increasingly online, I'd say.